What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're here to talk about the Sugo Medal Exchange. There are so many characters that are going to be in next month's exchange shop, and we're going to be talking about all these characters briefly for some of them, that's for sure, but there are a lot of characters that you guys should heavily consider in picking up in this medal exchange. Now, it goes without saying that you should probably wait until the end of that month, at the end of September, to pick up these characters, because you don't know whether or not you pull these characters from Sugo Fest, whether it be the treasure map, Kizuna, the Super Sugo Fest. Like, we don't know, right? You don't know what characters are going to be boosted, what are not going to be boosted. So wait until the end of the month. If they're about to leave and you see that, you know, there's a character you haven't picked up yet, go ahead and spend your medals then, because you just don't know. You might pull them throughout the month, okay? Now, a shout out to Godot or Mats on the One Piece Treasure Cruise subreddit Discord. Not really too sure who creates these infographics. I need to find out, but thank you very much for developing this infographic to kind of break it down a little bit easier for us. So we're going to start things from the bottom and we're going to work our way to the top. So let's start off with the 150 medal tier characters. Obviously, we've got Whitebeard down the bottom. He's pretty bad. You don't want to touch him. You've got Shanks, also pretty bad. You don't want to touch him. Mihawk. Mihawk's an interesting one. He's got a very interesting special. Obviously, if you guys don't know how he works, basically his special stores damage, and so hypothetically, if you do 1,000,000 damage, then in the next turn it's going to do 60% of the total damage that you dealt in the previous turn. So if you do 1,000,000 damage, next turn Mihawk does 600,000 damage. But really good for revive stages. If an enemy revives, you can just launch Mihawk special on the revive and it kills them, so long as, you know, you don't have to deal with a barrier or anything like that. So you know, that's actually pretty good, but it doesn't really see that much play anymore. Crocodile is a pretty bad character. Don't touch him. Law is an interesting one because he does have a pretty awesome special ability that allows all of your other specials to bypass defensive effects for that one turn, which is cool. When you go ahead and super evolve him and you limit break him, he actually has a really low cooldown. But I mean, again, it's one of those characters that doesn't see that much play because there's so many characters these days that have specials that already bypass barriers. But it's just not a really commonly used character. But then we come to Corazon. Now, if you guys do not have Corazon, the fact that this character is only 150 medals, if you don't have Corazon, this is almost one I would like pick up straight away, despite the fact of what I just said, you know, about, you know, picking up characters at the end of the month when it's about to reset once again. But Corazon is one of those characters that you're probably going to use multiple times in a month. You probably want to have this guy ready to go. His support effect is so insane, and you can use him as a crewmate as well upon super evolving, having a pretty decent special. Realistically, Corazon's going to be one of those supports you use a lot, so I would highly advise, if anything, doesn't matter what these other characters are and how powerful they are, pick up Corazon. He's going to be a very valuable asset to your account. Definitely pick him up. But then we move over to Blackbeard, and you can definitely avoid Blackbeard. You don't need to worry about him. You've got Zoro, who has a pretty interesting support, but again, it's a character that doesn't see that much play. I would avoid Zoro. You've got Buggy. Buggy is also a pretty interesting one. I think a lot of people probably want to pick up Buggy. Honestly speaking, I definitely think Corazon is a much worthwhile pick over Buggy, though. You know, the fact that dupe dropping is a thing is cool, but again, it's just not something that you overly need. It's not a requirement to have a character like this. I definitely think Corazon is the better choice here. We've got Monkey D. Luffy, the time skip Luffy. This guy, you can avoid him as well. You don't need to worry about him. You've got Shirahoshi, which is another character that's interesting, but no, I would avoid picking up Shirahoshi, honestly. You don't need Inu. You don't need an L. V2 Rayleigh for 150 medals is actually pretty interesting. He does get that super evolution. If you limit break expand him, his captain ability is pretty usable, but honestly, I wouldn't limit break expand this character. Rayleigh is a decent choice, but 150 medals for this character, I don't really know if I could really recommend that at all. Like, honestly, like, Corazon is just so good that any other 150 medal tier character just looks like trash in comparison, because it's either you pick up Corazon or you probably, you know, invest it into one of these higher tier characters. That's what I would be doing here. So I probably wouldn't advise Rayleigh, but Rayleigh is not an awful choice for 150 medals. I think that's kind of a bargain. You got Shanks here, which is okay. He again, another character that sees somewhat usage, I would say. He's okay, but not a character that sees a lot of play, but he is usable. Kung Fu Luffy, I don't advise picking him up for 150 medals, though, you know, do know, like, a lot of these other characters don't have super evolutions. Like, Shanks doesn't have a super evo, neither does Kung Fu Luffy, neither does Isakainu. These three characters in particular, with a super evolution, could legit become one of the best units in the game. I feel they could legit go that way, but until that happens, no, these characters I probably don't advise picking up. I think Akainu is one to maybe consider, because 150 medals for his captain effect really helps you clear some of that easy content, though I would rather just spend the extra 250 medals just to pick up Kaido at that point, honestly. If you're just looking to cheese content, investing into that 250 medals just for Kaido is just the way to go. Sanji, no, definitely not. Nami is actually not bad though. Special ability granting you a 1.75 color affinity and a 2x orb boost, and then upon super evolving, also removing 3 turns of burn and paralysis, I believe. That is honestly pretty good, and for 150 medals, I think this is a pretty good bargain if you don't have Nami already. You've also got Sabo, who does get a super evolution in a couple months time. His super evolution is immensely powerful though. If you already have versus Ace, you probably don't need to worry about this unit though, let's be real. If you don't have many good free spirit captains, any good shooter captains or fighter captains, Sabo might be a decent pickup just to preemptively hold it for when, you know, we wait for his super evolution. Because when his super evolution does arrive, it is very, very good. But until that point, this character is basically trash. Like, you're never going to use him at all. The 250 medal tier is kind of in a weird spot, because you've got like Jinbei, who's bad, you don't need him. Cat Dog is bad. Sun Judge is a really cool unit. I'm a big fan of Sun Judge, but again, it's one of those units that is just okay. V2 Mihawk is definitely not worth 250 medals. He should be down here in the 150 medal tier. Sabo Koala for 250 medals is okay. You know, they have their really unique special ability that enables you to remove the, you know, negative beneficial orb enable thingamajig. I think they're like one of the only characters in the game that actually removes it. Plus, they grant an attack boost to Cerebral and Free Spirit characters. Captain ability is pretty bad in today's day and age, but really good switch effect and really good special. They see a lot of play as a sub just because of what they're able to do for the 2 classes that we've mentioned. They are a good choice, I feel, but 250 medals, I know it's in that weird spot of like, you can do it if you really want to, but I think investing it for the high tier characters is probably a little bit more worth it. But then you got Vivi Rebecca. Now, Vivi Rebecca for 250 medals is a steal. If you don't have Vivi Rebecca, this is one I would highly advise picking up. A special ability that provides a damage increase plus giving you amazing utility, being able to remove damage reduction and increase defense completely off of the enemy. Very valuable to have. A switch effect that's very good offensively and defensively as well, granting a 2.5 chain lock and a 2000 heal at the end of the turn. Like, such a great unit. And for 250 medals, yes, this is again like in the same tier of Corazon in terms of the importance of this unit comparatively to the other characters in their same tier. Vivi Rebecca is easily the best choice here, so definitely would be the one that I would advise you guys to pick up. But then we've got the big hitters right here, the 400 medal tier. So first of all, we've got Kaido. Now, I feel like if you don't own Kaido yourself, you should probably pick it up. Again, there's a lot of good characters here. You've got Nami, you've got Corazon, you've got Vivi Rebecca, but you've also got Kaido being that really awesome heavy hitter that allows you to speed farm content, allows you to cheese content that is more on the easier end of the spectrum. So I feel like if you don't have Kaido, you should probably get him. And, you know, to be honest, he could be one of those characters you pick up just straight off the cuff because you need that captain to help you clear some content a little bit easier. It is up to you at the end of the day, but I think that Kaido is a really good choice. 400 medals is a bit steep, I feel. He's a little bit on the older end now, so it is kind of surprising that he is in the 400 medal tier, but I guess it kind of makes sense still at this point. But Kaido is a really, really good choice. But then you've got Komurasaki. Now, Komurasaki is interesting. I don't think she's that good. Like, I think she's like in that weird spot where she's usable, but she's not optimal. That's probably a good way of saying it. She does get a super evolution, I think literally in September. I think she gets a super evolution. Pretty sure. So that's one to look out for, but I don't think she's worth 400 medals. I think that is very, very steep. I mean, why is this character 250 medals and this one's 400? I mean, I guess you could say the age of the unit is where they're being placed. But if we're saying, you know, Vivi Rebecca is definitely a better unit than Komurasaki. I'm sorry, it is what it is, right? Next to that, we've got Wano Law, which is one of my favorite units in the game. And for 400 medals, I think that's a completely fair price for the unit. But it really comes down to what you're missing on your account. And, you know, if you own a character like Goldie, Roger, and Odin, if you already have those 2 Super Sugo units, or if you have like versus Ace, for example, you probably don't need Wano Law as much as other people do. If you are lacking those really high tier free spirit units, then maybe Wano Law might be one of those good choices, being able to grant an orb boost and the chain boundary effect. Specifically, he's basically like a, I guess he's a nerfed version of Versus Ace in a way. If you go by numbers, yes, he is, but they both can be used on different teams, of course. But I think Wano Law is a pretty solid choice of 400 medals. It really comes down to what you have or don't have on your account in terms of which units you should be picking from this list. But then beside that, you've got Super type Blackbeard. I don't think this is worth 400 medals. This is a character that on release was kind of awesome, being able to cheese content and stuff. But the thing is he hasn't seen that much play since his initial release. You know, whenever there's a really high HP Cyboss, this Blackbeard is one of those really good units that can help you out. I mean, namely like against the Arena San Juan Wolf that just came out, this Blackbeard can be used for it. But outside of that, like, there aren't too many instances where you actually want to go ahead and use this guy. He is awesome in certain pieces of content, but I just think that for his value, you just won't get enough playtime out of this unit. Unless if you're a huge Blackbeard fan, I probably wouldn't advise picking him up. Same as Hawkins. Hawkins is one of those units that, you know, you can use him if you want. He's not always the most optimal. If you're running some of those Garb challenges and you need a really good Dex unit that can help you out for those Garb challenges, Hawkins would be one of those guys that can do that. Having a really good tanky captain effect and having a special ability that actually helps a lot in those Garb challenges too, considering how uncommon normal attacks only actually is in the Garb challenges. So Hawkins, if you really want, but he's not super optimal in a lot of cases, unfortunately, and not very good in PvP either. And then we've got Sweet Commanders, which is super crazy when you think about it, because, you know, Sweet Commanders came out like, what, 6 months ago, and they're already in the medal exchange. That's pretty crazy to think about. So Sweet Commanders for 400 medals. I think Sweet Commanders is a pretty good choice too, honestly. I've used this character a lot, actually. Works very well with some of the other really powerful strength units that release around this time. Can work well with Eustace Kid, of course. The fact that this unit provides a chain boost, color affinity, and attack boost upon special activation is pretty valuable. They've got a really good support effect that attaches to, I think it's Big Mom and Perospero, and it reduces, I think it's Despair and Special Bind whenever you're inflicted with it by 2 turns. That's pretty valuable. This character works with so many other really good strength units. I mean, like Legend Odin, for example, because this character provides attack affinity and a chain boost, and then Odin can be your orb booster. If you've got a way to guarantee those slots for your crew, you've got an amazing strength team right there, right? So it is up to you at the end of the day. I do think that Sweet Commanders are a really, really good choice. Wano Law is a good choice. Specifically, if you don't have Versus Ace, I think Wano Law is almost one that you should be picking up. There's the Kaido as well, who is still really good. Even on Japan standards, if there's any easy-based content, Kaido is going to be your go-to. He makes things easier for you. He makes your life so much better in the game. I think Vivi Rebecca are another phenomenal choice and probably should be picking up. For 250 medals, it's a bargain for this unit. And then for 150 medals, pick up Corazon immediately if you don't have him. And then also Nami, I think, is a really solid choice for 150 medals. I think it's pretty cheap. And then, like, there's the maybe characters like maybe Rayleigh, Akainu, Kung Fu Luffy, and Shanks. Maybe Buggy if you're into that kind of thing. But overall, this is a pretty awesome month for the Sugo Medal Exchange and very good for newer players. Newer players are going to download the game. They're going to be doing a bunch of pulls, and they're going to have so many of these medals to just pick up characters to kind of fill in the blanks in their account. Like, this is a really good month to be stocking up on those medals and then spending them on the characters that you need to fill the blank spaces in your account to kind of round out your account, give you the best chance at clearing content in the future. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. Which of these characters are you going to be picking up with these Sugo medals coming up in the Sugo Medal Exchange update? Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.